Blutbad.
Hello and welcome back to another behind-the-scenes toy photography video. This week I'll show you how I recreated one of my favorite scenes in the Phantom Menace. I call it Sorry for My Deception. I'll also show you my editing process in Photoshop. The Black Series figures I used for this shot were Jar Jar Binks, R2-D2, Padme Amidala, and Anakin Skywalker. I've always really enjoyed the scene in episode 1 where the real queen interrupts her decoy in a calculated attempt to gain the trust of the native population. With the recent release of Padme and Anakin, I was finally able to shoot that scene myself. To start my setup, I turned on my background TV and began positioning my ground surface. I used real dirt along with little squares of fake grass to cover my cinder block stage. I also used some weights to anchor these broken tree branches in a vertical position. Using decorative moss from the craft store, I covered up the back edge of my set as well as the edges of the dirt path. With the scene set, I added my action figures. I used a magnifying filter on my camera to get much closer to my main subject than I normally could. I wanted all the focus on Padme as she made her big announcement. Then I placed the rest of my cast in the background, using a shallow depth of field to make them fairly blurry, again keeping the focus front and center. After fine-tuning the lighting, it was time to shoot. Here's my starting shot. As you can see, it's pretty dark, so I began my edit by adding adjustment layers for levels, then color balance and hue and saturation. Next, I erased the articulation joints on the figures with the healing brush tool and content aware fill. I must have dropped this figure in the dirt at some point, but I didn't notice while I was shooting. Luckily, the healing brush tool is great for removing little spots like these. After that time-consuming process, I did some dodging and burning, paying special attention to the eyes. I even used the brush tool to add in some detail. Lastly, I brushed in a second exposure to cover up the glare from my ring light in the background. So once again, here's my starting image. And here's where I ended up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and checking me out on Instagram. Thanks, and until next time!